Now we've got good leads. We just need to master the sales. And it's always good to get a refresher on what helps us close more deals, what I've learned from the years and years and years of learning sales, doing sales, reading sales, studying sales, right? And these are the top 10 books, and these are the top 10 lessons. So we're going to start with like the real old school basic ones that everybody needs to read. But How to Win Friends and Influence People. This is one of the key books that just taught me how to be better at relationships, taught me better how to negotiate and influence people. And the key takeaways that I have from this one is basically whenever you're talking to a prospect, their name is their favorite word in the world, right? So if you can't pronounce their name, don't say it. But if you can't pronounce their name, throw it in there quite a few times because people love the sound of their own name, right? The other thing is people will likely be nicer to you and talk to you more if you're smiling. Even if you're just on the phone, people can hear the smile in your voice. So if you're smiling and if you're upbeat and you're happy, that's super key. The other thing with How to Win Friends and Influence People is people like to tell their problems to people and they like to be listened to. That's a big one. People would rather tell all their information and be listened to than anything else. Okay. And there's just a lot more, but those are the main takeaways on how this book completely changed the way that I think about dealing with people and talking to people. It's old school, but it's a good one. Next, we're going to talk about The Go-Giver. So this is another old classic book. And this is just all about giving value, right? Giving and giving and giving and giving and giving. This is like for us, especially like these sales calls, like yes, they might be broke. Yes, they might not be the perfect prospect, but we can still go out of our way and deliver them a lot of value or give them some hope, right? And this book is just all about how the richest man, he finds like a billionaire mentor. And he basically puts this other guy in the room with all these people, and he doesn't pitch anybody. He doesn't make any offers. He just gives and gives and gives and gives. And then at the end of the book, all the stuff that he gave everybody comes together and it completely changes his life. So it's all about going out there, being a go-giver, right? You have to be proactive as well. And giving value. And the main thing away for sales is just give a ton of value. There's no reason to hold anything back. There's tons of information. Like there's a cool quote. It's like we're drowning in information, but everybody lacks direction, right? So you can give people tons of value on the sales call and genuinely just go out of your way to help people and be a go-giver. All right, next we got the classic Grant Cardone, Sell or Be Sold. Whether you like Grant Cardone or not, this is a phenomenal book. The big takeaways that stick out in my mind also from this book is he says, as soon as you become a professional, right? You have to be a serious sales professional. This is your goal. This is what you're doing. This is what you're focused on. And then you just have to be super aggressive. You have to be very, very proactive. And you have to go out of your way to make the sale, right? Everybody needs to read this book again. Like every time I read it, I mostly just get tons of motivation. That's kind of what I use this book for. It's like Grant Cardone just fires you up, and it comes from prime Grant Cardone when he was just still hustling and not this billionaire guy now. But it's just a great book. But again, the main takeaway from this one is be a sales professional. You're a doctor of sales. You're a master of conversation, of persuasion, of getting the point across, of communicating with clients, of calling people, and getting out there, right? So this is just a very, very powerful book. Everybody should read this for sales. Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. This is a book that not everybody has heard of, I think, maybe not, but this is one of my favorite books for prospecting. And this book has made me a load of money. I read this book whenever I want to go whale hunting, right? Whenever I want to get re-inspired. So it's called Fanatical Prospecting. And it's just all about going out there and getting into the room, getting in on the phone, getting into people's lives that can change your life, right? And it's all about going forth and generating leads constantly and like being just relentless in prospecting. Relentless is like the key word, or fanatical. And it's just such a good book. Jeb Blunt has a lot of other cool books, but this one is my favorite. And it's just like, whenever I think about this book, I had this company where we would basically do cold email all day, cold call every single day, cold texts, cold DMs. And it was a shitload of rejection, but I went all in. And I listened to this book a lot, and it really fires you up. It pumps you up, and it makes you remember, like, if you want to be successful, you have to be proactive, not reactive, right? And you have to go out there, start conversations, and just get in the room, get into the conversation, make things happen. Okay. So Fanatical Prospecting, amazing, amazing book. I think everybody should read this. And just remember, when you're into CRM and you're cold calling, you're texting, you should be pumping up the volume of what you're doing if you really want to see results. And it's just a very cool book to remind you that what you're doing is working. Hard work pays off. That's another big thing that I remember from this book. Okay, so this is a cool book too. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. This is a great mind shift that helped me in sales. And it's basically whenever you're on the sales call, you create this alter ego, right? You create this badass, you're Bruce Wayne or you're James Bond or whatever you want to be, right? But you have this alter ego. And I like to put this on, especially when I come to the close, right? So most of my sales calls, very like therapeutic, almost like I'm a therapist for these people. And then we get to the close and I put the alter ego on and I say, look, you need to buy this right now or you're going to die broke or it's not going to go for you. You need to basically make this happen and you need to take action. But it's about creating an alter ego. And this alter ego doesn't have to be about you. It can be your other persona, right? That you put on when you do sales calls, that you put on when you're ready to basically have that little animal inside of you come out, where you don't have to be so nice. You have this alter ego who's a cash collecting, sale winning, closing deal motherfucker, right? And that person has to come out and you have to hold on to that ego inside of you. And then you have to know when to let it out. And you need to know when to tap into that alter ego. This is very cool. Book that you guys can read. I mean, you don't need to read the whole book, honestly, but once you like get the full idea and you get the full concept of having an alter ego inside of you, that's going to make you more successful. That's going to push you to your limits. That's going to quiet that little voice inside your head and turn on the beast voice inside your head. That's what this book really taught me. And that's what this book is all about. And when it comes to sales, you really want to always be able to turn that switch and have that alter ego come on. That's going to be your savvy sales guy, your slick salesman that's like going to close deals and crush it. And it's not about like manipulating people or anything else. It's just having that mind shift that I'm going to be the most badass motherfucker right now on this call. And I'm going to hold on to this alter ego that I have, and I'm going to take that to the next level. So this is a very cool book. And I like doing that. It's good to remember this kind of stuff as well. Next one. This book is called Never Split the Difference. I've actually got it right here. So this guy, he was in the CIA or the FBI. And basically he was the top negotiator whenever there was like terrorists that were holding people captive, right? Whenever there was someone who was literally at gunpoint and you have to negotiate with the person, he would basically be the person. He was the world's best. So he basically tells you all about how to negotiate like your life depends on it, right? And he basically says, never split the difference. And the big things that I got from this one is he teaches you how to gain permission to persuade. Okay, how to ask questions that's going to get them to trust you, right? And build tactical empathy and also just reveal what's going on, what's really at stake, and how to shape it. And it's just an amazing book if you ever want to really like dig into psychology and basically how to win sales, right? And he basically goes over exactly all the tactics of what they teach them in like the CIA on how to negotiate and how to win. Because, and the big thing is like never split the difference. Like he's literally doing negotiating like your life depends on it. So he'll literally like someone robs a bank, right? And they have all the captured people inside the bank. They're at gunpoint. So and then Chris Voss hops on the phone with these people and he talks them off a cliff, right? He basically says, hey, look, like this is what's going on. Here's the reality. Like, do I have permission to talk about how we can basically get you out of this difficult situation? And it's super powerful, very crazy. But I think for us and for salespeople, never split the difference. Like as a salesperson, especially at this company, you guys are the gatekeepers, right? We want to make sure that the company makes the most amount of money, right? Because we're definitely going to be delivering a value. We're going to be delivering a service. So never split the difference. Try. And you can meet people in the middle, but always make sure that the company is going to make more money. Make sure you make more money because there's a lot of people in the world, guys. We don't need to work with everybody. We don't need to make everybody happy. We need to make sure that the deals that we get, we're winning. So you never want to split the difference. You want to make sure that it's the best deal for you and that people aren't going to die or whatever. But this is a great, great book for negotiating. Another Grant Cardone book that I love is Be Obsessed or Be Average. Okay. This is like phenomenal Grant Cardone book. Again, this is a great one. And this is just all about, you have to be obsessed with what you're doing or else you're just going to be an average person. For sales, you have to be obsessed with learning about sales, with doing sales, with performing as a salesperson, and as well as just other goals in life. Like you can't half-ass it. You have to full-ass it. And nowadays the world is full of and very lazy people. And the only way you're going to stand above everybody else and get where you want to go is you have to be obsessed with your skills, obsessed with what you're doing, obsessed with the sales. And it's okay to be obsessed. It's okay to lean into that little bit of crazy that you have. And that's actually going to get you where you want to go. There's a cool thing where basically like, what do you call the guy who plays guitar every single day, all the time, everywhere you go? The best. right? And it's because he was obsessed with playing guitar, right? And those are the people that basically become rock stars and so on and so forth. So if you want to be the best, you have to be obsessed or you're going to be average. So be obsessed. That's the main thing. That's what this whole book is about. He goes really into detail about it. So I love this book. I think it's amazing. And then now we have the new model of selling. This is Jeremy Miner. This is the big breaking, like pivot point where I went from like third world hustling, selling people to having a tactic on how to basically get people to sell themselves on buying the product. It's all about asking the right questions with the right tone and the right energy to get people to sell themselves, right? Because we can't force anybody to do anything. I mean, some people do. I've definitely had some New York sales guys that like they go really hard and make you feel really cringy, and you just feel ick, right? You're like, what do I got to do to get you in this car today? And it's just like, bleh, get away from me, right? So this is a better way to sell. This is where you ask clients like, and what would that look like? And how does that make you feel? And what is it that you would really like to see happen from this? Our whole sales script is based around Jeremy Miner's kind of methodology of selling, where instead of we're pushing the sale on people, instead we're attracting the sale people. We're basically asking questions. We're making sure that they are heard. And then we're asking strategic questions in a specific order to take the client on a journey, right? To take them from the guard is up to now the guard is down, to basically, hey, is this, like, what are you trying to accomplish, right? We figure out what they want to accomplish. And then we basically ask them, and what's going to happen if you don't accomplish this? And what's going to happen if you don't work with us? Have you been trying to do this for a long time, right? So you ask strategic questions. And this is the whole thing with new sales. And this is what works. So really recommend this book. I'll have more training on this kind of stuff, but NEPQ, asking the right kind of questions and getting the client to sell themselves on joining your program. Yeah. That's the whole thing with this. And it's a very powerful thing. And then finally, this is the last one, just eat that frog, right? And this is just his Brian Tracy classic book, Stop Procrastinating and Eat the Frog. And basically the whole story is like, if you wake up every day and at some point during the day, you have to eat the frog, right? You have to eat a frog. You might as well do it first thing in the morning, because the rest of your day cannot be as bad as having to eat that frog. Right. And that's the key thing that I think we all need to do is like, whatever your hardest task of the day, eat the frog, get it done first, and stop procrastinating and do more in less time. Right. That's what it's all about. So those are the top 10 best sales books and basically the lessons that I've learned. And it's always good to just remember all this stuff so that when we go into our sales calls, we know what we want to do. We know what we want to be like. And it's just good to get your mind into the mindset of sales. And you guys always need to be learning whenever you're doing sales.